Awesome. We might as well make them honorary members now because they're boot camping here in Stockholm right now. They came a week ago. Well, they basically never left. They stuck around since the end of ESWC. They've been boot camping over at the QPAD offices, which is pretty cool. And they'll be getting involved with the main like DreamHack Winter Boot Camp next week. So Cloud9, man, they're here to stay. They're getting as prepared as possible for the next major.
Yeah, and actually, just a quick shout out to whoever is in control of the Cloud9 Twitter account. Thanks for tweeting that the game is going on here. That's at Cloud9GG for anyone who isn't already following them on Twitter. You definitely should be. Super cool organization and seems to be super well managed. I'm jealous of whoever came up with the Cloud9 logo because it's such a genius logo. I really envy whoever had the brains to come up with that one. Very, very cool. So yeah, thanks to Cloud9 for helping us out. I hope you guys are excited to see them. Yeah, Ven, how do you feel about the current Cloud9 team? What's their shape look like to you?
Well, obviously they didn't have the greatest of showings at both FACEIT and ESWC, but I like that team. I think they can do very well, and we've seen them do very well in the past. So I don't think the past or the very recent results are any reason to worry, really, if you're a Cloud9 fan. I think they're going to be just fine. And for once, they're actually going to have an extended period of time where they've been boot camping in Europe. They're going to have, close to a month-long boot camp in Europe. So they're going to have that opportunity to actually practice versus all the European teams and get accustomed to their playstyles, because even though they go to tournaments internationally every now and again, it's not the same as playing versus these teams day in and day out. So I have high hopes for Cloud9 going into DreamHack Winter, and I think I'm definitely calling them to be the favorites in this game.
I think in this one it's going to be pretty clear cut as well, similar to NIP Planet Key. Epsilon, definitely a team that's been undergoing a lot of changes in recent times. Obviously, for heading into DreamHack Winter, to keep their spot, they had to maintain 3 guys on the team, except that FXEO will only be playing with them for DreamHack Winter. So it's a bit of a tricky situation right now with Epsilon, where they're trying to establish themselves, but also maintain that major spot.
Has anyone ever invented like an awkwardness scale? And if there was one, I wonder how high it would place to have one of your teammates only be there as like, we basically need the money to be in DreamHack Winter. So we're gonna have to keep you on, but we won't be playing with you up until that point. That feels really weird to me. But I mean,
it feels kind of harmful to you as well. Simply because, well, you want to do as well as possible at DreamHack, right? Because, okay, you're going to get stickers money, which is a lot of money, and that's obviously something you're happy about, but you shouldn't be opposed to put in some time with, the outsider of the team to potentially up the prize pool, because you get money from placing 9th to 16th. So if you place top 8, you're secured one more go at the next major, and you get quite a bit of chunk, the chunk of money extra. Yeah. So why not do that? It seems kind of weird that they're not just, grinding their teeth together and sucking it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the big thing that we're all wondering, right? Is FX going to be able to prac with them before? What's going to happen there? I mean, these guys are going to be in that top 8 slot, right, for the team. So, or for the tournament rather. So you do kind of expect, or at least that raises expectations. We should be expecting to see a top tier team. So this is going to be kind of a first look, I guess, barring FX not being here.
I mean, it's not like Foxio is a bad player. In fact, he seems to be super good at times, but apparently maybe not always so easy to work with. So they've changed up a little bit, and in fact they've brought Beastufly in as well here, which is, we've seen him in the French scene a couple of times before. I certainly recognize the name from a bunch of different teams, but before that, they had Sixer in the lineup, and what does that name mean to you, Vendetta, from the Soul States? Or 1.6 too.
Well, yeah, 1.6 is where you want to go if you want to talk about Sixer.
Yeah, and who's the other guy they had on here? Sorry, just to cut
Major.
Yeah, that was
Major. That's it.
Yeah,
I got confused for a minute. That was Major.
Yeah, you had 2 of the probably 3 best 1.6 players ever to come out of France. The only one missing is MSX, who is constantly brought up on Angel TV forums. Every time you see a new French lineup, everyone's like, "Oh, why couldn't we see MSX coming back to the game?" But yeah, Sixer, definitely a huge name in French CS for the longest time. And yeah, he's apparently out now. I'm not really sure why and what happened. It didn't seem like that stay lasted all that long. It's just like a month at best.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like whenever there is a comeback into like from old players, be it from 1.6 Source, it always seems like
Short-lived.
it seems short-lived, but it seems to me actually like there's a lot more Source people coming back, and I guess in many ways the people who were pro in 1.6 might just automatically be a little bit older. So maybe that's also why they have other obligations, other things to worry about like that. That make it harder for them to come back into it. It's a bit of a shame.
If you think about it, most of the people who played professionally in Source, or the ones you can actually say that were pro players, not that they made a living out of it, but played at a very high level. They turned pro in 2007 or later, and then you have the 1.6 guys who've been around forever. They've been playing since at least 2002, 2003, and been at an extremely high level. So obviously they'll have a couple more years behind them. As you can see with Ostraker, for instance, he's in his 30s right now, and he's one of the prime examples of people who've been playing basically forever. Same thing with Natu.
Yeah, for an outrageous amount of time is what it comes down to. So yeah, I mean, there's already so much talent currently in the French scene that it's interesting just to note that there could potentially be a lot more if they dug up some of the old boys as well.
Yeah, well, speaking of old boys, Bistifly, as you mentioned earlier, he's been, in a couple of teams in the CSGO scene, but I guess what he's more known for is his heyday in LDLC, back in Source with the KRL, who we never got to see in his top shape in CSGO, which is a shame because he was one of the absolute best Source players ever. And so Bistifly has definitely been at this level before, so it's going to be exciting to see how he fares really in a team like Epsilon, if he sticks around here. But not really sure what's going on with Epsilon these days.
No, I mean, the core of it, obviously, is what we've been talking about. You kind of have to maintain through your core players to keep your spot for the next major, and that's obviously GMX, Superfighter SF, Uzi, and Scream. So, to me, seems like a somewhat solid core. But we have always been wondering, do they have the sort of leadership it takes to be a top team? Because, I mean, even between just these four players, obviously maybe Scream being the ultimate superstar, but they certainly have a lot of sort of aim power. So, what do you think they're lacking at this point, Deven?
Stability? That's the easiest thing to go about because they've had different lineups for the better part of, 6 or 7 months, it feels like. Obviously, a lot of it is something that they can't really control, given the fact that LDLC and Titan decided that they wanted to change things up, and Epsilon got definitely the worst end of that deal. So I think stability is the biggest key in actually having a stable lineup that they've been able to play with over the course of several months. But I don't see that happening, at least not before, or actually after DreamHack as well. I think it's going to be a bit of an issue, especially with what you've mentioned, is that it's kind of hard to find people in France who are not in either Titan or LDLC who are up to snuff to play at the level that Epsilon wants to play at.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? It's basically Titan, LDLC, those are the two big dogs, and after that it's kind of, you're going into basically past stars or up-and-comers like Mistu, right? So it's a bit of a tough call for Epsilon. It feels like they are kind of just stuck in that third position, and it's going to take a lot of work on their part, basically, to either bring in talent that they can train up to the level that they need, or to just like unearth talent that's been dormant for a few years now.
Yeah, and I think one of the most awkward... They are probably in the most awkward situation they could ever be in, being the third best team, because, as you said, if they bring in unseen talent to Epsilon and they, put them in a spot and they actually perform well, who's to say that they're not just going to be more or less a farm team for LDLC and Titan? Because if there's some super special talent that actually takes Epsilon to a whole nother level, then that means that the new player they've brought in is doing something extremely special, and you'd be crazy not to think about it if you're a Titan or LDLC, if they're, hitting a slump or not being able to get over that hump, right? So potentially Epsilon are in a prime position to just work as a farmer team and basically train, future Titan and LDLC players.
That's a very sad fate, but I get what you're saying. It could well be true as well. I guess we'll see what the future holds. Big welcome actually to Mortar 2K for thanks for supping. I'm guessing the whole Counter-Strike community has realized his name. I think actually, did he? I swear I just read on HLTV he donated another 10,000 to Pasha.
15,000.
15. Saw the picture
which
of
is
it.
super
Yeah.
cool. If you're going to donate to someone, definitely donate to Pasha. That's a really good idea. That, not just goes to Mortar, for anyone else who wants to chip in, because Pasha's a great guy, and obviously just had a kid and everything else. So I'm sure he can use the money. I heard kids are expensive, so
I've heard that too. I've heard that too.
I don't think that'd be too big of a risk, making that claim. Yeah, maybe they are black pits for money, black holes, right? You know, just
kids in university, right?
yeah, exactly. Then they need cars and other things too. Yeah,
Apparently, you have to give them food as well.
Oh, well, all right. Well, yeah. So we'll make a list
And-
later on of all the things that kids do need.
it's not a good thing if you only put them in like a plastic bag, right? They actually need clothes. Like
Oh.
it's rough, man. It's real tough being a parent these days, you know.
It's like having a really expensive maintenance girlfriend, right? Super high maintenance.
I trust that Pasha will figure out better than I can anyway. So, it is the knife round just starting off. Not too exciting on Inferno because it is a pretty even map. In fact, it's at this point then, is Inferno the most even map that we have, since all the other maps seems to have been skewed, towards the CT side, or is the same true for Inferno, you think?
I guess, but I think there's more down to Inferno being so even because that's the map that everybody knows how to play to some extent. So that's why we're seeing more even results on Inferno. And obviously it's a fairly balanced map, at least in Counter-Strike terms. But as you know, with the shift that's happening to Dust 2, we're seeing people pick up more and more CT rounds. That Dust 2 could potentially, in the end, be the more balanced map.
Oh, great. Well, we are going to be off to... I thought it was a good big start. I mean, it would have been a quick start, but GMX takes down SF, which is like the international Counter-Strike sign for we are not live after all, even though we thought we were. So that's just what it's down to here. Once we get into it, it will be Epsilon starting on the terrorist side. It's GMX, it's Beast Fly, it's SF, Uzi, and Scream. And then on the Cloud9 side, we have Shroud, Nothing, Sean Gare, Semphis, and Hiko from North America, and they're boot camping her in Europe, and they will be doing that all the way up until DreamHack Winter. So it's gonna be a long run for the NA boys, which is really exciting.
Yeah. They're Inferno Online, right?
That's
where
right
they're
now,
boot
no.
camping?
Yes.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm not too sure actually where they're at.
Either that or they're
Somewhere.
at the QPAD office. I'm not quite sure, but regardless of where they're at, that was a pretty good opening from Sean Gares to take down Beast Fly with a long-range USPS shot, and that puts us live in the game.
As far as Epsilon are concerned right now, starting a man down isn't going to help them, although they have gathered up in A apartments, maybe with the balcony push, but it looks like they're going to back off eventually. Probably work their way through mid instead, so Epsilon still trying to set it up, but they're gathering for this push, and it looks like Cloud9 are even predicting this, seeing as how they've got 4 guys over on the A side right now.
Yeah. The big indicator to where Epsilon wants to go is where GMX decides to use his nades.
Yeah, he's the only one who currently has any. Hiko's actually going to be spotting a bunch of people, but look at Cloud9. They have such a big stack here. It's Semphis running out of bullets first. Nothing hiding on the corner, and he's going to get the shot in on GMX. Tries for Super Fighter, has the knife out, and Hiko's going to come and prevent that stabbing from going down, which leaves a just Scream. He's going to be dropped by Sean Gares, and a pretty decisive round for Cloud9. Then they already had pretty much all the people they needed in this A bomb site. So I mean, Epsilon, did they just choose wrong? Could they have known there were that many people in A?
They probably could have figured it out because they more or less neglected Banana the entire round. After Sean Gares picked up that entry frag, we saw no one really from Epsilon moving towards that Banana area at all. So they were just running into the dark, really, and that's never what you want to do because information is key in this game.
Epsilon right now, though, they go for a pistol armor buy. They're going to be rushing straight up mid. It's going to be the full crossfire setup here for Cloud9, and they're going to be able to just slaughter them. That's 3 kills there with the swag. 2 of them, rather, with the swag, but still, good job.
Oh.
Until
then-
Scream decides to ruin the party.
I was going to say, that was looking so good. Sean was in the perfect position, but now look at Epsilon. And you're right, especially Scream, that double kill with the bomb down as well. They have bought armor, but they have 2. Well, they've actually bought 1 from us here, and they've stolen the Max 7 as well. And that's going to be a kill for GMX. This is working out horribly right now for Cloud9, as Nothing is going to be the only one left here. 1 on 2, he's trying to creep in. He's making some noise. He finds GMX. He's going to turn around, not quick enough. Triple kill for Scream. And that will be a straight comeback into the game here for Epsilon. That's really fast. How on earth did that go wrong for them, though? They had the crossfire in middle van and everything.
The crossfire in middle was perfectly set up by Cloud9, and it worked out just the way they wanted to. They picked off 3 people, which should be more than enough. I think the biggest issue there was Stronggear's actually taking the peak from, I think he was at balcony right there. Instead, I would like to see him drop down behind the light post there and basically just sit around and wait for Epsilon to try to attack the bomb site, because it would give more time for Nothing and Shroud to actually rotate over from the B bomb site.
Now, I mean, a bunch of other teams similar. We've seen this, you know, at Fairway Masters, and I think also the SWC. Once they actually lose these Antique rounds, then they go straight into buying Kevlar armor. And in fact, the only one who's bought anything here is Sean Gaz. So no armor on anyone. I'm kind of surprised.
They seem like they want to try and keep their options open, actually. If depending on how this round can go, they can potentially swing around and go for a force in the next one. So Cloud9 kind of giving themselves some options, some room to work with. They do manage to get the first shot onto Uzi, but it's going to be a full run in here for Epsilon. They've got the bomb and 4 guys just gathered outside of B, and GMX will find the entry on Shroud.
Yeah, nothing hiding inside here. Just enough bullets to take down GMX, but not going to do anything more than that. And the smoke is off by the time Semphis gets here, which is a little bit of a shame. SF is pretty far away. Someone was rotating down through the middle, he would have caught them. But as it is, maybe he's going to be able to backstab Sean and Semphis over here. So Semphis is going to go down, and actually, SF isn't even needed in this whole setup. Epsilon just make that push work perfectly. And now let's see what Cloud9 have in store for us. Man, it'd be crazy. They could go for a force up, and actually Cloud9, I think, historically are one of the teams that are really, really keen on buying as much as they possibly can, but they're going to restrain themselves.
I think it would have been more or less suicidal to actually buy up that round, and I think Semler was spot on with what he said, that if Cloud9 was actually able to pick up a few guns, if they got 3 kills or more that round, I think that would have triggered a force buy, because then you'd actually be in a position where you could force Epsilon back on eco, but with them picking up basically nothing that round, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Sean Gares right now gathered up. Oh, they're going to use the Molotov, but close range smoke, and that's going to actually deny Epsilon access to Arch for now, so that could force them back around to short. Sean Gares just taking 60% of his health? He just... What? 2/3 of his HP gone to a Molotov that he just stood in.
Well, it is cold in Sweden, right?
It is cold. Maybe he needed to just warm his legs a little bit there. Hiko with an actually a really good pick off and a second kill on Uzi. He actually landed that shot before he got killed by GMX. That was pretty quick work from Hiko here. Shroud gonna try and move in. It's a nice attempt just hiding at the edge of the smoke, but it won't really connect. So at the end of the day, it's a triple kill for GMX, and Epsilon make it 3-1. Now Cloud9 have the money to buy, so we'll see if they can summon something cool here on Inferno. Do you guys have a real feeling for how good Cloud9 are in Inferno? I'm pretty sure it's not necessarily their strongest map, but
I think they should be strong enough to beat Epsilon. That's more than I don't think. Yeah, as you pointed out, I don't think it's their strongest map, but I don't think they're incapable of playing it either. So.
All right, now look at Epsilon. That's actually a lot of speed. They're gonna run right in, and actually Sean gets the fadeaway shot. He was actually running back while holding down mouse 4 or mouse 1 to just get that kill. Pretty impressive. Semphis guesses the angle on Beast 2 Fly, and it's gonna bring him down to 17 health. So this is a great start right now for the Cloud9 team.
And this is where life gets once again pretty difficult here for Epsilon. They've got those 3 rounds on the board, but still having taken so much damage and being 2 men down in this round, it really makes their lives difficult as far as where they want to go. I'd almost want to see them turn around and go for a B play right now, just because they could potentially expect only 1 or 2 guys to be waiting on that site, rather than trying to run into the A site crossfire that really hasn't been working for them so far, apart from the second round. But it looks like that's what they're going to elect to go for. Scream is looking for an entry right now.
Semphis is the one right at the corner here. Going to be flashed in once, and he doesn't get anything for it, but nothing is there. He gets a quick double, has the pistol out next, the P2000, and he's gunning for Uzi. He's going to pick up all 3 kills, covering that angle just about perfectly. So, actually, I think there's a lot of teams where you can look at individual members and see how well the team's going to do. I think for Cloud9, whenever nothing does well, generally, really scary things can potentially happen, because he has, I think, one of the highest skill ceilings in the North American scene, probably.
Probably in the world.
Yeah, probably in the world.
Let's be honest. He's kind of the make or break piece to the Cloud9 puzzle in many ways. If he's on, then any team in the world is going to have a lot of trouble with Cloud9.
Yeah, it's definitely scary.
What's scary is that GMX has already eaten A damage once again. Epsilon are really not interested in going towards B. They're going to walk into another kill coming in from Sean Gares. Semphis trying to put shots through, and he is actually going to get naded down. Or rather, that's Hiko taking out SF.
And then Shroud, well, was going to come up from
exactly.
behind, but how did he not get that kill, though? It doesn't put Cloud9 in such a bad position, because nothing can still get over here, and Epsilon has still lost a lot of HP, but it looked like that should have maybe been... That should have been the finishing move, actually. It was a really good idea from Shroud, and it should have probably worked. I think if you replayed that particular moment 10 times, maybe 8 out of 10 times, Shroud just gets at least 1 and probably 2 kills for it. Sean trying to hide in the corner, gotta be careful, actually. Has the smoke up here to try and walk past, and as soon as it goes up, they just start firing blindly through, and they do exactly 1 damage with the grenade. He's not gonna get anything either.
This is all down to Hiko now in pit. He's holding short, 2 guys there. He spotted them. He knows this is exactly where they're coming from. Calls out that Uzi has gotten onto that site. Sean Gayers is there to clean him up, and it's down to Beastfully and Scream. And Sean Gayers and Hiko just going to work together to pick them all up. Epsilon actually just forced to run through the flames there at the end. That's how much pressure there was on them to actually get onto that bomb site and get a plan.
So, I mean, overall, I think at least there's like a bit of a pattern. Then maybe you agree here. It seems to me like Epsilon, they go up middle, they try and take a fight, and then they end up sort of falling back, and then maybe they re-engage, or maybe they go B. But either way, they sort of just get, like, you know, shot away from the middle early on in the rounds.
Yeah, and they seem really intent on going towards mid, and now we see Semphis doing it, you know, going the direct opposite way. He's pushing down into middle, and he's in a position to do a lot of damage to Epsilon here.
Yeah, but he has to connect with the bullets. He definitely had the position for it, but that was actually a little bit funny. Semphis probably not going to be too excited about that. Probably won't have like a huge impact here, because they still don't have any armor on Epsilon, and getting to that rifle is actually not going to be super easy either, but they're trying.
They do make it happen in the end. Beastfully does manage to work his way up mid to pick it up, but there's going to be the counter push coming in here from Cloud9. Now they've got full control of mid. They've got 2 guys sitting at the bottom of it, and they're going to be working up towards the second mid. This could be horrible for Epsilon, and there you have it. Nothing does manage to flank out SF, and now Epsilon have got to be wondering, where can we go on this map that is safe? Where are Cloud9?
The answer is nowhere is safe at this point. They're in a situation where they're more or less boxed in.
Oh, but that is a good headshot from Scream with the Deagle, actually very impressive. So, considering they only had pistols and no armor here, Epsilon, it is a pretty expensive round for the NA team here, as they do lose 3 members. But now, Sean Gass has actually bought the AWP. He's been doing incredible work, Sean, even with just the rifle. So I'm actually curious to see... I mean, it seemed like he could have kept going with the M4 if he wanted to, but obviously they have some sort of plan in mind here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's about to do. Okay, so yeah, throws out the smoke, rebuys a molly, so nothing too exciting right there. What I'm more keen on seeing is Epsilon actually trying to do something towards the B bomb site, because right now they've just been going, as you said, going up mid, getting shut down, reconvening down in mid before going back to the slaughterhouse. So I really like to see them putting at least some pressure on towards the B bomb site before they eventually go back to the A bomb site, because right now Cloud9 are basically they're allowed to stack up with 4 people on it each and every time. And you can see it now again. Nothing is rotated over towards the A bomb site. And there's no way Epsilon should be able to get onto this bomb site without massive casualties.
Yeah, so I mean then we have kind of found the pattern for both teams. Epsilon, it's been, you know, dying in middle, and for Cloud9 it's been having only 1 person defending B and then leaving a bunch of other people over here. This time it's actually nothing opening up on GMX to take that kill. Sean is covering the boiler room in case anyone wants to come through, and there's the Molotov he bought after putting down the smoke. And it feels like maybe finally Epsilon have decided, actually, they say Bombard side is just too well guarded, but then look at the read from Semphis here. This is actually really well read.
This is a good recovery coming in from Cloud9, because they almost rotated Shroud off towards the A site. Now they're actually going to have 2 guys here fairly quickly for the B site. Shroud already holding. Doesn't manage to get the kill on Beastfully, but he could get the follow-up, and he does. Picks up the bomb carrier Uzi, and this is now going to fall apart for SF. And Epsilon. SF the last man standing in a 1v4, and not for long.
Yeah, triple kill for nothing. Ven, did you catch what kind of information made Semphis make that rotation? Was it just the time left that made him feel like this a little bit wary? Because it seemed like he actually moved almost parallel to the terrorist members running over in Banana as well. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, it comes down to one information picked up by his teammates, and also the fact that they'd already locked down the middle area pretty solidly already. They had nades to work with if Epsilon wanted to go towards mid again. So it was a pretty safe choice to make the rotation over towards B.
This time it's back to pistols, mainly for the terrorist team. There's a Tech9 in play somewhere on Superfighter. He's going to be the only one left. And he tries his very best, but in fact, there's Semphis with a triple. Double kill for Sean Gares, who's currently clocking in at 13, 1, and 3. So he's doing fine. He even has like 3 stars to his name. He's doing really well at the moment, Sean. That's incredible, actually.
Yeah. And going back to that previous buy round that Epsilon had, I think the biggest tell that Cloud9 actually gave away that round that Epsilon definitely could have taken advantage of is the fact that it was Nothing who got the entry frag in mid. And he's been playing B the entire time. So when you see him showing up in mid, that should be a go signal for you to push heavily towards the B area, because that, you know, leaves by most, you know, the most logical thing to think is that, well, Shroud is going to be alone at that point. So Epsilon was just a tad too slow really to capitalize on it, and that's why Semphis was able to make that rotation.
Missed opportunity potentially. Sean tried to go pretty aggressive up in apartments, but I mean, similar GMX has now picked up an AWP on the terrorist side. So for the first time here in this half.
That they have the money to actually do this, and it looks like GMX. We have seen him pick it up on Inferno in the past as well. He's had decent results. I mean, he's always been a fairly capable offer, not something that you would look to as like one of the best offers in the scene, but he can definitely use the sniper rifle. Now it's a question of him, you know, measuring up versus Sean Gares and finding the proper angle, and he's currently looking towards Sean. Sean just lurking around the corner.
Oh, but Semphis sneaks in. He was even flashed in by Sean. That flash didn't actually help much to kill GMX. Semphis just had a perfect angle for it. He did get returned on pretty quickly, so it's still down to a 4-on-4. Sean Gares goes down, and everything is down to Hiko here. It's only 30 seconds, but if he goes down, yes, that's it. Scream runs in, gunning with the headshot, and look how quick Cloud9 are on the rotation. They're trying to get in, but Beast flies in Boiler to take care of it, so they were even aware that that was going to be a thing, and now it's all or nothing here, 1-on-4. Great round from Epsilon so far.
Yeah, this is kind of just run and gun at its best, and then holding off the angles. Nothing just walks right into SF. Missed shots coming in from Cloud9, essentially. I mean, the flash, you're right. The flash not really being too effective there. So Semphis, he gets the 1 frag, but then he gets completely wiped out. But then Sean Gares missing a bit of an opportunity on short to get an easy frag on Scream. And from there, it just kind of spins out of control. Hiko, the last man alive. Really just everybody getting picked off one at a time for Cloud9.
And it was really kind of similar to the eco round they lost against in many ways, because they don't get the perfect trade they want, and then the remaining Cloud9 members on that side take up really aggressive positions that allow them to get picked off and actually give Epsilon a lot of room to move forward on. So when Sean Gares goes down in quad, that instantly tells them that they can push up heavily towards the last man remaining on that A-bomb side, and Hiko taking an aggressive position out by the car instead of standing, again, behind the light post. That just leaves the entire site so open for anything Epsilon wants to do.
And it makes you wonder if that gives some credit to Epsilon's persistence in the middle earlier on in the round that we're sort of talking about, because, I mean, they sort of keep knocking their heads against the wall for a while, but now they actually managed to make some sort of breakthrough. This time, though, they're actually setting up outside of B, and they have 3 Molotovs. And that's whenever you see, you know, this many Molotovs this late in the round, you always wonder, are they gonna firebomb it? Is that an option? Yes, yes. One is setting up here. Beast 2 has the right idea. I love it. I love it. That's what's gonna happen. Come on. Okay, it's gonna be GMX, but we're getting ready. Semno, are you ready?
Oh yes, dude, this is gonna be sick, especially where Shroud is holding. If they go for the 1 on oranges, and they are gonna go for it, so Beastufli, he's gonna force Shroud out into the open here. Bit of an odd angle from the hole, but Shroud's still able to pick up Uzi.
Yeah, he found the spot right between the flames. That's absolutely great here from Shroud, but he's still gonna go down. And they couldn't actually get covered from behind new boxes, so now Semphis wants to run away. Hiko's sort of coming in. They gotta decide if they want to retake or if they want to try and live through this round and just save the rifles. Great execution from Epsilon. Have to give them credit for that one. And now it's going to be a pretty tough retake here. They do have a Molotov. Hiko could use it. If he uses it in the back, they're going to get flamed in here. They need to move out, and they're going to run right into Hiko. He burns Beast to fly alive, and somehow Superfighter is still unharmed in the background. So Hiko, or Semphis, sorry, has no idea this is happening. Superfighter with an easy kill at the end. So close, and yet so far. It's going to be the round for Epsilon. My God, that was a madness round, Vendetta. What just happened?
Crazy round. First off, as you pointed out, they had a really good execution towards that B-bomb site. Even though Shroud found that tiny bit of space where he could actually stand freely, it still left him that much in the open that enough Epsilon members were able to gang up on him. Just really solid execution from Epsilon. I think they could have held that after plan a tiny bit better. GMX still had a smoke that he didn't use that potentially could have made Cloud9 back off. I think if he smoked off main there, or the entrance to the pool area, that would have probably, had Cloud9 on their feet, running back towards the bomb site. But seeing how that was open gave Cloud9 the tiny opportunity to get in. And Cloud9 did a really good job with what they had to actually do a retake. But unfortunately for them, the Molotov was just not far enough in to burn SF.
Yeah, that's the big letdown right there, is that you think that the Molotov is going to cover it, that it's going to extend into that corner, but SF just finds like that pixel distance to keep himself alive. And pretty much from there, it's over for Sempus, because he's never going to think to look in that corner. There's no reason for him to look in that corner at that point. He thinks, okay, it's clear, it's good, it's over. So,
yeah, especially when you've seen one guy running out, screaming because his legs is on fire. So,
yeah, that's it. I think, I mean, the theories in the chat is that maybe he was actually levitating somewhat, and that somehow, gave him immunity from the fire. I'm not sure.
Then actually doesn't work. You can still stand on top of a box with a Molotov under it and still take fire damage.
Oh, fair enough. All right. I'm not sure what that is then. Great grenade to begin with. So actually thrown from back on new boxes all the way down to bottom of banana, and it dropped Beastie flying down. So I think he actually had 47. Now he's down to 41. Something else damaged him. But really, really passive round from Cloud9. No one holding forward, and 2 people in pit, and they're in the right spot for this push.
This is going to be pretty sick, although the smoke is going to go down. Molotov as well. That's going to get canceled out. However, Sean Garris with some great spray onto short is going to clear them up, and there's 3 guys here. Sempus is still alive on the site proper. Does not get the double spray. It's gone. It's going to be down to the retake now because Sean Garris is gone from the pit.
Oh, wow. They managed to make it work so well here, Epsilon. Beast2Fly gets out, and GMX is going to pick up nothing. Now it's down to Shroud here. 1 on 3. Very tough position for him to deal with. He picks up the first kill on Beast2. Is going to have his knife out as he sort of jumps and skips past and almost takes down Super Fighter, but not quite. So Epsilon making both A and B and mid pushes work. Everything they do right now just seems to be working, and we're back at 6-6.
Yeah, Epsilon have found several holes in the Cloud9 defense right now, and I think due to the fact that Epsilon went towards B the previous round, we didn't see Cloud9 really taking control over Banana, so they were more or less stuck with 2 people on that bomb site the entire time, and that gave, again, Epsilon enough space to really assert control over the mid area.
So this is a round where we see, a couple of purchased pistols, then 4 smoke grenades. So, I mean, they do invest, $1,200 into them. And I'm guessing, yeah, most of these smokes were meant to cover B, but actually Epsilon aren't going to wait for it. Sean Gers was ready to smoke and help out over here. Nothing is going to go down, and they might as well probably save the smoke and the armor and whatnot.
If you're Sempus, I'd probably save from this point on just to hold on to that armor and P250. The other ones, it's all the same, I think.
Man, that was a really quick execute from Epsilon, and obviously Cloud9 were getting ready to play a much slower round, where they could keep just smoking off and buying time and hoping that Epsilon would eventually run through a smoke right into the waiting arms of one of these CZ-75s. Sean actually does pick up the rifle here. They almost line up for him. That was so close. In the end, it's Uzi with a quad kill, and Epsilon now take the round lead. Man, the French-Belgian team, they're playing super well at the moment.
They really are. They're finding openings. They're executing properly, and it's different from what we saw after Cloud9 got their first buy round, really, because then we saw them kind of reluctantly going into mid, taking a lot of damage, going back, and then going back up into mid, and basically just going into a meat grinder. So they're adapting to what Cloud9 are doing, and it's working out really well.
Nice flashbang in. Shroud waiting right behind the car. Is going to pick up the second kill of the round for himself. Could be a third if he had found 1 bullet on GMX, but there's still nothing waiting up here, and the smoke is going to go off. He's trying to guess the angle through. If he had a grenade, it'd definitely instantly kill someone. But there's still a pretty good trade coming out here in favor of Cloud9.
I'm pretty surprised, actually, that they're continuing with the pressure. It looks like they're going to finally wrap around here, Epsilon. Look to see if they can't catch somebody peeking at mid, but this would be a big mistake now. If Cloud9 were to peek out with anybody, they do not want to be giving an opportunity for Epsilon to find a way back into this game and get, even it up with 3-3. So nothing kind of caught in a corner at this point. 2 guys waiting for him around the corner. He sees the nade go out, and he's going to pick up the first frag. GMX to follow, and there we go. Nothing, with a very clean hold at top banana.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it, essentially. So, I mean, Shroud with the first 2 kills. Nothing with the 2 follow-up kills, and now Super Fighter down very low. It's going to be a triple kill for nothing here. Putting itself at 14, almost catching up to Sean Gers, who's at 15. It's not like anyone on Cloud9 is really underperforming at this level. I just think maybe Epsilon managed to catch the American team a little bit off guard. So it's paramount at this point that they at least win this last round and make it 8-7.
Yeah, it's definitely important for Cloud9, at least, you know, not just to win the half, but also get a kind of a good feeling going into the T side of it. Because you're not supposed to lose that many rounds on the T side on Inferno, so it's important for them, absolutely. Especially if they potentially lose the pistol round.
I'm kind of surprised by the change of pace here. Now, Sean Gare's actually electing to drop the op and go back to an M4. So focusing on 5 rifles now, Cloud9. Doing away with the sniper is going to make life perhaps a little bit easier for GMX, depending. He doesn't have to worry about that counter snipe, but Cloud9, maybe they just want to be a little bit more mobile here. Just have a bit more of the spray.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea as well, because they haven't really opted to go for any aggressive peeks in mid with the op, so I think you're better off if you're just going to stand passively and hold off people coming towards you. I think you're better off with a Colt.
I agreed.
Oh, and there it is. Semphis will pick up the first kill in the middle. Almost takes down Beast2 as well. GMX, is he going to really dare to do this? He wants to peek out, but he's not sure if there's anyone on the other side. He takes a quick peek and gets the flick on Semphis right through the door frame. That was really fast now. Nothing is hiding over in the ninja spot, and no one's checked this yet. And is anyone going to check it? They finally check, but they are going to get mowed down. Great double kill, leaving it at a 2, well, now a 1-on-3 here, as GMX is going to be alone.
And GMX all by his lonesome as well, still holding onto the AWP as well. So now he's got the bomb, and he runs right into Sean Gares. Somehow does not die, gets dropped down to 27 HP, so some mad spray there, but he's given a second chance. Everybody here for Cloud9, though, on this A site, and with 9 seconds left, now 8, it's going to be Hiko here to stop this plan, and that will be the final round, the 8th round on the board for Cloud9.
Yeah, maybe a little bit closer than it should have been, but GMX, not really a lot he could have done in that 1-on-3. Pretty tough position for him. It did get the really cool flick in before the round ended. So, I mean, 8-7. Ven, if you're on the Cloud9 team, are you satisfied at the moment with the first half here?
I'm pissed about losing the anti-eco, and I think they definitely felt like they could have held some of the pushes from Epsilon later out in the first half. But seeing how this could have easily spiraled out of control for Cloud9, I think they just have to be okay with it and more or less be focused on winning the pistol round. If they can win the pistol round, I think they're going to be in a perfectly fine spot.
Well, we'll find out in just a few seconds. So if you're just joining us here on the channel and you're a newcomer, then a big welcome and thanks you for joining us here at Room on Fire. This is our Caseking, King of Kings tournament, and we're currently at the first day. It's a best of 1 game here. The winners, they get to play NIP in a best of 3 game, and that's tonight. So it could be either Epsilon or Cloud9. NIP won earlier in the day against Planet Key Dynamics in a pretty impressive fashion with their newly minted lineup having Mike Hilele on there. So hope you guys will follow the channel. Subscribe if you want to help us out. And yeah, big thanks to anyone who already has subscribed. Remember, go and visit facebook.com/Caseking Gaming and like their page. I think the link should be in the chat as well. We'll put the link in here a couple of times if anyone doesn't know. So go and like that page and it'll help out our sponsors and also help us a little bit. So we appreciate that a lot. Later on, we'll be giving away a couple of headsets from Beat Phoenix and also from our CPU cooler from Alpenfru in the Brocken Eco. So that's going to be a giveaway for our European audience. So thanks, guys, for sticking around here. Now, you said pissed around 7. What do you feel about that? Do you think Cloud9 can win this pistol?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. They can definitely do it. Just like Epsilon are perfectly capable of obliterating Cloud9. So clearly Epsilon have got something going for them here in this T round that they've actually managed to get 7 rounds on the board. The CT side should be a bit easier as well for them. I mean, it is the favored side on this map, so it really is Cloud9 having to fight back in this scenario. Now, what we need to get into here basically is the round, so we can see who's picking up nades, who's going for Kevlar, and that should be able to give us an idea of what Cloud9 have in store for us here.
Oh, well, that is generally a good indication, actually. There is the smoke on Sean, and there's also a grenade on Hiko, so, yeah, could be a little bit of everything.
Surprising to see an HE and a CZ on T side like that. Okay, Hiko, wild stuff. Let's see.
Yeah, that actually surprises me a little bit too. Seems like a bit of a risk. Uzi jumping, and I think he actually spotted a bunch of people in second mid. So that's already a lot of information gained now by the Epsilon team, just knowing that there are people down there. And are they going to set up? Sean is going to throw this smoke, and it's going to be towards quad. So you got to think that they want to run Arch this time towards GMX, and he sees it coming.
They're going to be able to back off with a double here in Arch. Sick flash, and Scream is landing shot after shot. GMX gets a headshot as well, and goodbye Cloud9, pretty much. Not even Epsilon. Okay, the reason why I was shouting sick and why my brain froze is basically that was like the most perfectly timed anti-flash through Arch ever.
Yes. What the hell, Scream? That, I mean, there's a reason why Scream has a reputation in this community, even though he landed on the third best French team and not on LDLC or Titan, because every once in a while he does this, and it's kind of a delight. Then combined with, you're right, the perfect flash timing, that was basically the ultimate shutdown.
No, it was definitely something you'd relish at seeing. That flash from GMX couldn't have been better, and I guess he deserved that one frag he got in that pistol, even though the Scream was on a tear.
They're going to try and push in here. They do have armor and a bunch of pistols. They need to get this bomb down somehow, but Scream is in the background, landing even more headshots. He's eventually going to get taken out by nothing, but he runs out of bullets, picks up another gun, in fact. And there's some sort of weird UI bug going on, but he's still going to be alone here. 1-on-3. He could get the bomb down. It'd be so good, but he can't do it. Instead, he just does some economic damage to Epsilon, but it may not be quite enough here.
It's one of those ecos where both teams are... It's a bit of a meh eco. T's are okay about getting 2 people down, and Epsilon are happy about not losing 3 or more. That's pretty much all there is to say about that eco.
Well, what's to be said right now is that Cloud9 are in a bit of a tight spot after that pistol not getting too much done in the second round. Now it gets really difficult for them going into the third. I mean, it's all going to be about the 19th round here for Cloud9, and I certainly hope to see something clever out of them because they are desperately going to need that round to start their T side off.
Oh, Uzi instantly dinked. Not fun at all. But they're actually not going to speed up behind it. They're just waiting.
Yeah. This is giving Epsilon time to rotate or get into safer positions. I'm actually surprised that Uzi's not the one dropping behind the light post there in pit because he's down to 14 HP.
Yeah, you're right. Gotta be there at the same time. Sometimes this place does get Molotov, so maybe they shouldn't have a Molotov anyway. So yeah, you're actually right. I don't understand it either.
Might be because they want Beast to Fly to be the one taking the attention. So while they're running out to get Beast to Fly, Uzi's there to pick up a couple of easy frags. That might be the idea behind it, but we'll have to see. Nothing is setting up for a flash here.
Yeah, smokes to go in as well there to block off pit. So it is going to be down to Uzi pretty much here to hold off balcony in this main push that's about to come through. Uzi just wildly spraying, runs out of bullets, and all of a sudden the element of surprise is still there. He's going to get dropped in on and finally taken out. We're into a 2-on-2 now. Cloud9 just barely finding the kills.
Oh man, but they're in the pit. They're kind of stuck in. They need to fight their way out, and preferably before SF goes up, but he's already here, and now it's going to be down to Semphis. He goes down. That could have probably been a Cloud9 round if they, or at least they could have had the bomb down, and a much better chance if they had got out of the pit before the Epsilon reinforcements showed up. That was some pretty unfortunate timing.
It was. I still think Epsilon should have done a better job of holding that off. It seemed like what I initially thought would happen now happened. The focus from Cloud9 was on Beast to Fly. Unfortunately for Epsilon, Beast to Fly had actually moved out from the safe position down in pit, and it was actually out in the open, so he got picked off. And with Uzi basically spending all of his bullets on one guy, there wasn't much left for backup for Beast to Fly.
He didn't even really get the bullets there. It was the fire, the incendiary that did most of the work, it seemed.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the big round here. This is going to be it for Cloud9. They've got the AKs, they've got some nades, but they need to count on Epsilon giving them an opportunity here. GMX going to get flashed in. Semphis not going to hit the shot. So unfortunately, an opportunity missed there for the North American team.
And they're going to try again. They're pretty aggressive about defending archery right here. GMX is going to be traded on pretty quickly. Beast2Fly trying to cover it up, but in the meantime, it's back into a 3-on-3, and Beast2 getting double peaked. Shroud coming out of Boiler Room would get that kill, and Uzi down in the pit hiding. They're running back because in the meantime, nothing has actually single-handedly cleared the bomb site over at the B side, but they need the bomb, and now Scream gets the headshot on Semphis. So we're in a 2-on-2. This is kind of a crazy round. This is really not normal.
Oh, and Shroud has a smoke. He's going to be able to re-smoke CT. That's a really big win there. Dodges the bullets going through as well. He will be able to get the plant, but without that smoke, life would have been very difficult there for Shroud because that smoke was about to clear that was blocking off CT, and Epsilon have now got a clear line of sight into the construction.
Nothing spotted them out. Flashbang in. It's down to Scream. He gets the first. He goes for the second. He can't get it. Shroud is going to end up coming out on top. That was dangerously close, but it worked out. And Cloud9, they get another round back. And Epsilon, their economic state's really weird. 3 of them can buy, 2 of them can't. And they choose to all eco.
Yeah, and I actually agree with that decision. No need to risk it. You are on the more favorable side of the map. And you could do a lot of damage with CZs on the CT side of Inferno.
It still seems like, when I watch Scream these days, it really does feel like no fear. Like, he just doesn't have any fear. He's just taking these fights. He just peeks out, no problem at all. He'll take those battles and still manage to land a headshot. It's crazy.
That's a good opening, good return from SF here, and you're right, they did actually have a pretty good shot here, especially because they had a bunch of smokes and flashbangs on the CT side, so we'll see if they can actually still make it work a little bit here. SF going to be charging in. He gets another kill before he finally goes down, and look at that, everybody else from Epsilon. Here's a complete chaotic battle right outside the B bomb site. Sean takes the bomb and runs as the whole of his team is pretty much dead. He's going to have to clutch this one, be a huge upset. I mean, Epsilon, they would have won, well, one pistol and then also an anti-eco like this. It'd be huge for them.
Oh, does he find the time here? Uzi. Uzi's going to walk forward. Sean Garris could get caught off guard here. May not expect Uzi to be this close. Uzi just crouches, but now Sean Garris is actually out of dodge. He's going to be able to change up his position. This is really clever. He could potentially get up into apartments fast enough here, although now the second man is on the site. Bistufli, they're looking to find Sean Garris first. Epsilon trying to play with that man advantage, but they're running out of time, and they don't have a kit for this defuse.
No, they don't, and Sean is going to come in, and, well, Uzi might have been too late.
He doesn't have time. They don't have a kit. So them actually taking the time to go and hunt for Sean Garris there just doesn't pan out.
Then did Sean Garris just inadvertently outsmart Epsilon without realizing that he was doing it?
I think Epsilon outsmarted themselves in that situation.
Agreed.
And it was kind of a bit of a weird decision because the first fake defuse is perfectly fine because you got 2 people you can potentially bait out Sean Garris. But they waited so long and they didn't go as a group. They split up completely, and when the Epsilon member on the bomb actually decides to go for the real defuse, SF is just way out of position. He's behind in apps, basically chasing out for Sean Garris, and he has no way of protecting the guys defusing or anything. So kind of seemed like they gave up on actually winning the round and just wanted to pick up a weapon and save that AK.
There's a good angle found through the wall then by GMX. He did well, he almost killed Semphis. Uzi's going to come down on the boiler, take the quick headshot there on Shroud, and fall back into it. Epsilon, I mean, they're tied right now, but losing around like that, a little bit painful for them. They almost had it. Beast2Fly going to take down Hiko, and sneaking up towards the libraries. Nothing going down immediately to Scream with a headshot, leaving it down to just Sean and Semphis.
They both get shot in the face pretty much. Both of them down to nearly 10 HP. This isn't looking too hot here. Cloud9, if they could find some kind of magical entry, they've got AKs, but if they could find some magical entry here, this would be a pretty big round. In the sense that they need to actually catch somebody in a 1v1 right now, and Epsilon are kind of spread out around the map, so it's going to be a little bit tricky here for Cloud9. They need to play this patiently, but they only have 30 seconds left, so they are running out of time.
I think they're in more or less an unwinnable position right now. As long as SF is able to connect with one hit on any of the 2 players, they're going to go down, and holding that 1v2 with basically a decoy to defend yourself, it's going to be so hard. So Epsilon have all the time in the world. All SF needs to do is either stay alive for a long time or just land one shot.
Yeah, he's hearing them, and they're out of time as well. As soon as they plant, they have to commit to it. Superfines are going to walk in. He goes down. What? Now it's down to Semphis and Sean here. That actually does change a fair bit, though. Scream does have a Molotov on his hands. I'm sort of wondering if he's going to be able to catch anyone with it, or if he's just going to come charging in. Semphis is in the corner. One Molotov here would make a world of difference. All right, now they're going to put it up towards main. Beastu almost getting shot in the face here. Semphis, now Sean waiting on the other side. The defuse is already happening, and they're not going to commit to it. He end up losing the round, even with the bomb plan. That's a real shame. That could have maybe worked out for them.
Yeah, that round just did not play out the way I imagined it in my head. But one thing is, team. Yeah, at first you'd expect SF to at least pick up one frag, but he kind of hesitated to actually take the peek, so he more or less walked out and gave away a frag for Cloud9, which gave them the bomb. And at that point, you at least think that Cloud9 figured, they're gonna peak. Yeah, Cloud9 should peak in that situation because they are 2 people left, even if they are faking. So yeah, weird round all over.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering if it was a communication issue. I think whoever was over by construction was maybe afraid of running into the fire, although it looked like there was a tiny path. And then, the guy in dark maybe just thought, oh, I'm sure my friend in construction is going to come and help.
I think when that happens, the guy who's in the dark corner there on the B bomb site, he basically has to give up his life. Just to
keep
get
that
information. Yeah, just to get that information. Even if it gets taken out by, I think it was... it was Beast2Fly who was covering the angle. Even if it gets taken out by Beasto, if Beasto is just holding that angle, that's a pretty big giveaway to the fact that Scream is just holding the defuse.
Yeah,
so, get that information possible, even if you have to pay with your life, because you need to buy time for you guys. Basically, boxed in ruins at that point. He's not going to get a proper angle if he goes from flowers, so he more or less had to go through main. And with that Molotov down there, he needed someone to buy time for him.
Well, we do have a bit of a pause going on. I think we lost one member of Epsilon, so I'm sure he'll be back any second here. It's GMX, obviously. So once he's back in the game, we'll continue. It's turned into a really close game right now at 11-10, and probably even with Epsilon having a good chance actually of winning it here, which would definitely be. I mean, that'd be great for the French team. Like we said, they've been changing their lineup for a while, and they even, compared to how much exposure LDLC and Titan have got, it almost feels like Epsilon has sort of just disappeared off the map for a while.
Well, I'm curious to see what Cloud9 can actually bring to us here with this force buy that they go for. Based off that plant money, they're going to be able to go for a couple of rifles. Surprisingly enough, they have just enough to get 2 AKs, but some pretty decent nades and pistols going on for the rest of the team. So Cloud9, they do have options still if they can try and overrun. Just hit very quickly at one spot on the map. Maybe they can catch Epsilon off guard and get a quick plant in there. But yeah, it looks like we're still going to be waiting on the one man here. So Epsilon, they have a little bit of time to talk over how they're going to handle Cloud9 on their offense.
Yeah. How? Actually, the kind of play. I don't know if you noticed this, Van, but it seemed to me like the kind of play that Epsilon brought on the T side. Is not what we've been seeing from some of the top teams like Fnatic and LDLC when they've been playing T recently. It was pretty heavy on the Molotovs, but not so heavy on smoke executions towards pit archway or quad or stuff like that. They seem to be a little bit more raw in a sense. So I'm not trying to. I don't know if Epsilon is behind the curve in the metagame or if they're just trying some new stuff here. But
I think that's what actually led to their success here in their first half, really. I don't think Cloud9 were really expecting the run and gun. They should have potentially been expecting the run and gun, but also, Epsilon, they've got some strong aimers on the team. I mean, clearly Scream has really stepped up today, at least as far as he's concerned. But it seemed like everywhere he went, he was finding headshots for him. Cloud9 just didn't know how to handle the outright aggression when Epsilon would find one frag and then be just pushing through without wasting much time. So you can say okay, it's the run and gun. It favors a bit more of the brute force mentality, but it still works out pretty well for Epsilon.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So then the question is, do Cloud9 try and replicate that once they're on the terror side, or do they have plans of their own?
I hope they have plans of their own. I think there's 2 ways of playing it. You can play execute based, where you basically set up with smokes and then hope that's enough, and provide proper flashes and whatnot for your teammates as they run through. Or you could do what Epsilon did, which is basically you work as a unit to try to get picks and openings for your bomb sites. And I don't see any reason why they would change it up when it worked so well initially. So they never really had to go to any, let's set up here and there, throw these smokes and then go for it. Except when they went towards the B bomb site where they pulled off the Molotov strats.
Yeah, that was the most execute they had, and it worked really well. So I mean, that's also maybe a positive sign for the French Belgium team, is that they can actually just play both depending on what suits them. I mean, that would obviously be the ultimate thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, whatever do whatever works, and they figured that we can try to get picks towards mid if we're going towards A. That's been working out nicely for us, and if we want to go towards B, we have to execute. slow picking towards B is hard because there's only one entrance to the bomb site, really. So, yeah, I think they've figured it out pretty well.
And you've got to be a king of the banana to make it work there.
Yeah.
But that man is not on the map right now.
We'll see him later on, though.
I'm talking about Flusha, of course. I don't know who you're thinking about.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Freiburg's going to have a word with you later, Sumler. It's going to be into the 22nd round. We do finally have GMX back. Big thanks to all of you for joining us, and hope you guys are going to enjoy the evening. There's still a best of 3 coming up between either one of these two teams, and then NIP, who have already made it through Planet Key Dynamics earlier in the day.
Oh.
Cloud9 getting ready for something here, but they're going to get almost flashed in on Scream, trying to fall back, and he doesn't get the shot home, but there's still 2 more people waiting, and SF already got the first return frag, and the bomb is dropped. Oh no!
Oh no is right, and they've got all the advantage now, Epsilon. They're actually rotating everybody over to this B site to make sure that this gets plugged up. Cloud9, they have a real battle. They're going to go for the flashes. They're going to actually try and make it out. At least the bomb ends up on the right side of the smoke this time.
This is almost like American football. Yeah, they get it a few yards further back, and then they get to go on a little bit more, but as they try and get Shroud all the way over through Archway, Uzi runs him down. And now they're kind of stuck. I'm not sure where they want to go with it.
Well, they are more or less forced to go towards A, and as you can tell by the rotations, Epsilon know that.
Especially because he's camping an angle and it gets completely flanked out. Semphis could potentially find Uzi, but he's covered. And as I say that, Uzi peeks up to apartments and finds him first. So Epsilon, man, they weather the storm. They're looking to be in a fantastic position now to close out this map. It's a best of 1 as well, guys. So this is a map that's going to settle who goes on to face off against NIP in the winner bracket. And what's up, Freiburg? Notice Freiburg's in the chat. So basically, Freiburg, yeah, man. It's all good.
You heard the rustlings of Flusha being the new king
Oh,
of
dude.
Banana.
I think I heard his Jimmy's rustle from here. I don't know.
Yeah, that round actually turned out way better than what I thought for Epsilon, because the initial position that Scream set up in kind of the noob corner, if you want to call it that, towards the entrance of B, the way he positioned himself with the silenced Colt actually allows Cloud9 to spot him out. They can see his gun barrel if he had remained in the same position. And Cloud9 was just about to turn the corner when he got flashed out. And he didn't get a kill, but it kind of set things in motion for Epsilon. So they had the rotations then in time, and they were able to hold them off. But if that flash doesn't show up, and if Scream just sits in that position, he would have been an easy pickup for Cloud9, and that would most likely have been an easy bomb site for Cloud9 to take. Well,
I mean, it was pretty close. It actually seemed like initially, once they took Scream down, they had like a good trade going on, but the fact that the bomb dropped up there just made it almost impossible. I mean, I actually appreciate Hiko's heroic idea of trying to run in and pick it up and run away. But like I said, it was almost, like he just brought it a couple of yards down the line, and then they still ended up getting stuck anyway.
Yeah. It was still the right play from Hiko, though.
Yeah.
I think at that point, it more or less came down to whether or not Shroud would have been able to pick up Uzi, I think it was, who rotated around towards A again. If Shroud picks up Uzi, then all of a sudden Cloud9 have the entire A site to themselves.
Yeah. I guess that was like the one play they could have gone for then. I'm being distracted. I'm noticing as soon as Freiburg shows up in the chat, there's just nothing but people trolling. He has that effect on people for some reason. We see what you're
it's a positive one. I mean, even Scoots is getting in on it, right? So I mean, it's like everybody's here. NBK doesn't get a shout out because he dropped out. So NBK, go practice.
You could definitely tell Freiburg is trolling when he's talking about Norway being cheap.
Do you disagree? How much is a pizza in Norway?
Like a normal pan pizza from a takeout place or pizza delivery place? About 340 Norwegian kroners.
Oh my god!
With delivery and Coke.
That's unreal. I can't believe it. Sweden is already, like, coming from Denmark. When I go to Sweden, that's the first thing I realize is, Jesus Christ, all the food is expensive. And then go to Norway and it's even worse. I wonder what it's like in Finland. Do the prices get worse the more north you get? Is that how it works?
In Finland?
No,
Are you
Finland
kidding me, dude?
cheap.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah, Finland was really cheap.
Really?
Let's go to Finland, man.
So what?
Don't go to NBA. Like Norway, I've been to Norway once, and it was a very, very sad time when I ended up having to cough up like $15 for a McDonald's meal. I was just like, this is not right. Something is very wrong here. How do you do it? How do you do it, Ben? I don't know.
Well, I barely do. That's, but you have the opportunity. As soon as you leave, get out of the Norwegian borders, right? As soon as you get to another country, you're just like, oh, I can buy everything I see. You get that kind of a sensation.
Ouch. Well, all right. I'm sure there are other benefits of living in Norway. Like,
oh yeah,
the view.
Not complaining at all. I can live with high taxes and high prices.
yeah, but then lots of oil.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
so much oil.
I just figure, it's like everybody in Norway, it comes with the territory. You look out and it's just like this fjord and massive mountains, snowy peaks. Like no matter which window you look out, actually, that's the image I have of Norway. It's like you could be looking out, the city is there, but you're still gonna get a mountain. Like, it just comes with the real estate.
Oh yeah, it's really nice actually. I'm not complaining at all.
So it's like that's all you see when it's like, hey, picture of Norway, and then it's like some beautiful vista. So I'm just assuming the entire place looks like that.
Yeah, pretty much every picture of Norway that you see on like Reddit and something, it seems like it's a Windows background. It's pretty much what it is.
It's actually my well, maybe not the last time. I think last time I was in Norway, I was actually in Oslo, just to do shopping, which was nice and fun.
That seems like counterintuitive thing to do. Go to Norway to shop.
Yeah, but people do that.
People do
that. People come from Japan to buy omega-3 stuff, like Norwegian fish, because that's apparently a thing. Yeah.
All right.
It's called tram. Anyway, I'm not sure if there's any translation for it.
In Denmark, there's a ferry that goes to Oslo, and sometimes people, they go on the ferry, they get drunk, and then they show up and they shop, and then they, on the ferry home, you get drunk. That's kind of how it works. So we did that. And then the really weird thing is that Norwegians, they obviously take the same ferry. They go to Denmark and they shop for bacon.
Bacon and beer.
Yeah, that's basically what. So we go there and we buy sweaters and other Norwegian things, and then on the on the way home you get drunk with Norwegian people who've bought lots of bacon and beer. It's like a nice exchange. There's a nice thing going on here between the different Scandinavian countries.
What?
Cool.
Is this true? Everyone in Norway gets double their salary in December as a Christmas gift? No,
we get half taxes. We have half taxes 2 months a year.
Jesus, what?
That's amazing. How does that work? That's it.
You're moving?
Yeah, man. Get your couch out. I'm heading over.
You still have to live with 10 months out of the year with the average Norwegian tax.
Don't complain. What is your tax rate currently?
Mine?
Yes.
Oh, what is that? 30. I actually can't recall.
Okay, so mine is 39%.
This is where I say I don't pay taxes.
Mine is 39%, and then I have to pay an additional 8% in basically just like an additional tax on top of that. So I end up at, I'm close to like
you're like 45.
40, yeah, no, yeah, well actually more than that because there's there's a couple of other things too. So you end up at about 48, 49%, like nearly 50% tax.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, man.
Fun times in Denmark.
Except that everything in Denmark is cheap. Everything that you need, really. Booze, bacon, girls, it's all good.
Girls are cheap in Denmark?
Copenhagen, man. You never been to Copenhagen Games?
That's mostly because of the location. I see what you did there. I see what you did. But you get what you pay for, Semler. You gotta be careful, man.
Yeah, man. Healthcare, too, is good.
Oh, yeah. No worries. Going all out.
All out. I'm committed.
Okay, I think maybe everyone is back on the server. Of course, we do apologize for this delay and for our ramblings as well. We are just waiting for everyone to be ready and unpaused with. I think they just managed to try and relaunch the actual round, so everyone has the right starting money, and then we should be good to go. So remember, this is just a best of one game. Score currently 12-10. Whoever wins gets to play NIP in a best of 3 game that will also be tonight. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys, and thanks for subbing, all of you. Don't forget to visit facebook.com/Caseking Gaming and like their page. I think we're like a few likes away from 35,000. So yeah, definitely go and do that, guys, if you haven't done it already. Help out our sponsors and help out us indeed. And welcome to Exist, who's in the chat too.
Yeah, man. Exist is subbed. What's up, man? Not even Freiberg subbed. That's how cool Exist is, man. He sees his teammate. Freiberg is just here with the mod, stirring up everything in the chat. Exist, he's a mod.
The
Still
only
subs.
time Freiburg subs is when we're giving away knives to the subscribers. That's literally how it works. We are onto you, Freiburg. We know how it works.
Wow, it's no secret, man. No secret. And then he has like the balls to like write me on Twitter like, why did I win the knife, man? Come on. Like, I'm Freiburg. Hook it up.
It seems like Freiburg's always the one who starts to the rigged
Freiburg,
spam
yeah,
in
exactly,
chat.
right? It's like if Freiburg wins the knife, I'm not giving it to Freiburg. It's just gonna go out to somebody else. Like, it doesn't even matter.
We're gonna give it to Exist instead if Freiburg ever wins.
That would
Exactly.
actually be funny. That would actually be funny. Oh man. So what are they waiting for? Ready?
Apparently
someone's in the
one's
bathroom.
on the bathroom. Yeah,
All right.
shouldn't
Fair
be
enough.
too far off.
It's all good. It's all good. So I mean, DreamHack Winter's only a couple of weeks away now, isn't it?
DreamHack?
Yeah.
That's what, 17 days away,
Pretty much.
I-
When does it start? The 26th?
isn't it? I think it might be 27th, but I think
27th,
the
yeah.
tournaments start at 28 on the 28th.
Yeah. There's usually
Yeah.
like a warm-up day, isn't there?
Mhm.
Get everyone in, which is actually a pretty big project.
It's a pretty big event.
Dude, it's gonna be sick. You guys have seen the like the new layout for the stage, like that square setup basically, where all the teams are gonna be back to back and just like all around stage setup. That looks amazing. I can't wait to see it in person. It actually looks like we're gonna have like a big stage for CS this time at a DreamHack. You know, every time it's been people climbing on walls to be able to see the monitors and everything. Now, all of a sudden, we're gonna have a real viewing area. It's gonna be sick. Hearthstone are gonna be happy because we're not gonna be
Yeah, we're
stealing
not
all their chairs again.
Exactly.
Well, apparently it's currently eBot who's trolling us. So as soon as we get unpaused on it, I think we'll be good to go. But you're right, that does look really good. Actually, we don't have any knives currently to give away for you guys, but we do have some other stuff here. I'll find some in our inventory just to keep you guys waiting. So we can do that at end of break when we're going to be giving away the headsets as well. So how about one of these stat track orbs, one of these stat track rooms? We'll give one of these away to one of the subs later on in the evening. So stick around if you are a sub. Even if Freiburg subs, we'll give him one if he's lucky enough to win it. So
Whoa.
yeah, if he doesn't win it, then there's no hope. But yeah, we'll do a raffle later on for some of the subs. It'll be fun.
Oh man, now Exist it's like the team, man. Nipper taking over. Now it's Exist trolling the chat.
What have you done?
Give Exist knife.
Freiburg.
That's it, man. It's not gonna happen. They probably have some kind of racket going on as well, you know, where Freiburg is like, you know, inciting the chat to get us to give him a knife, and then Exist is just gonna give it over to Freiburg. Like they'll never see
Collusion.
it. Exactly, man. They'll never see it coming.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't get the right emote, or I'm not sure if it's an emote or not, but yeah.
We're live.
Woo! People are back from the bathroom.
And I think they put sub mode off now. All hell has broken loose, and yes, we are live. So sorry about that annoying wait, but now we're back into it. Cloud9, they need to fight hard now if they want to beat Epsilon. They're on the least favorite side. They are currently ecoing, which means Epsilon's probably going to extend their round lead by 3, and we'll have to see how it all pans out here. French team, the French-Belgium team, is actually looking pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised by how well they're playing.
No, as am I. They're definitely... I don't think Cloud9 are very surprised. I think Cloud9 might have even gone into this match somewhat underestimating Epsilon. And now they're actually figuring out that, wait a second, Scream is on the other team. We actually are in a bit of a tight spot here. So it looks like they're going to just try and wrap around through Arch. 4 members here for Epsilon, however, and GMX is the one to land the first headshot.
Yeah, nice precision coming out. Uzi's going to spot a couple of people over here as GMX picks up one more kill in the background. Uzi actually ends up getting none of these kills. They get stolen by everyone else, even though he was sort of the center of attention by the truck down here. So, yeah, nice round from GMX. Another triple, and he's up to 17, trying to catch up to Scream, who's currently at 20. But the top fragger is still nothing at 23, which is pretty damn impressive.
Nothing's really been playing well so far. It's been doing a lot of work for Cloud9, but I'm actually more impressed by Epsilon. That if you look at the scoreboard, they have so balanced fragging right now. Everybody's chipping in, so that's good to see.
It is good. And I mean, Cloud9 might not lose immediately now if they lose this round, but it's gonna get pretty dicey if they don't pick up a round sooner rather than later. Semphis is gonna pick up a return kill on Beast Fly. Uzi charging in, and the timing is perfect, but again, it's not him with the kill. GMX steals it. Oh, Uzi. Not finding the luck. And in the meantime, the bomb is actually alone over here on Sean.
Yeah, but there is still... I mean, look at SF's positioning.
And there's plenty of time for Sean Garris to make the rotation. I would have been really surprised if they actually opted to more or less suicide Hiko and Shroud to create space for Sean Garris alone.
1v3 hold on the B side, even that's a bit tough.
Yeah.
Are they going to try and wrap around here? They're going towards Archway right now, and you can kind of see Scream is giving up on it. He's thinking this, again, there's so little time. SF used his last smoke, so now Scream is going to come in and help out, and that might actually give the one opening that they need right here. If they can take care of Uzi and GMX in the pit, they have smokes to actually not... They don't have to fight them. They could just smoke them off here, and they'd be in a pretty good position. They've already spotted GMX, and there comes the smokes. So yeah, they're just going to try and get the bomb down and then fight for the retake. Uzi, though, has an angle still. Shroud is going to take him down, and they heard GMX. Hiko comes in. The bomb is being planted. It's still a 2-on-3 here. They need to make it work, and now it's all on Shroud here. 1-on-2. Almost getting shot down. He's on 28 health, and he's going to get down instead by Superfighter. That box is one that you can't hide through anymore. You used to be able to hide on the other side of this box and be just fine, but that's sort of changed now.
What is going on in this world?
Epsilon are just playing this really well.
Yeah, that's what it seems like right now. It just seems like Epsilon are hitting their shots and playing their positions very well, whereas Cloud9 are kind of just crossing their fingers with the run and gun.
Yeah, I do like the idea, or do like the decision for Cloud9 to actually go around Arch there and try to wrap around the site, but the two remaining Epsilon members on that bomb site played that perfectly. Didn't peek out too aggressively, and they basically just denied Cloud9 entrance to the bomb site before everyone else on their team managed to rotate over.
Now it's going to be tricky. They do have rifles here on the Cloud9 side, though for some reason the UI doesn't really show them to us, but they have them, and they need to start winning. They need to win a couple of rounds in a row now, force Epsilon to eco, and then even then it's going to be tough. It's almost a little bit of a miracle if they can pull this comeback out.
No, I mean, they have to right here, but they have very limited nades to work with right now. Only 2 smokes, so Cloud9 are heavily relying on Epsilon giving them an opening. Basically peeking in here and giving them some frags. Sean Gears is going to be the first man to Arch. Scream is going to take that peek and just drop him solid. Doesn't even take a point of damage.
Yeah, and that, again, is the bomb dropped right at the edge, and actually on the wrong side of the corner. They're going to have to almost just, round the corner to pick up the bomb. And there's Molotovs and everything else here for Epsilon to try and keep that bomb safe. Now, Beast2Fly is covering this other side of the bomb side, and coming up from behind is going to be Superfighter. He's a little bit late, but still should be in a good position to backstab the remaining Cloud9 members here, as they're running out of time as well. Down to 25 seconds. They're definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place. Superfighter, instant execute there on nothing. Just one click is all it takes. Semph is trying to do his best, but it's not going to be good enough as Hiko goes down. Last man alive. 15-10, it's match and map point here for Epsilon. Really, really playing well at the moment.
And skipping forward through time as well. GoTV doesn't want to actually waste any of it here. It's going to be the last round potentially here. Epsilon just doing a fantastic job so far, really getting the reads on Cloud9. Cloud9, it seems like the struggle is real. It continues in CSWC.
And up in the apartments, are they going to end up running into each other? Because they're all so close by. Look at Beast2Fly. He's got the AK in hand. That grenade just forces him back a little bit. A pretty creative grenade, in fact. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be that way. I think it was probably supposed to be on further on back where Beast2 is actually holding now. So they almost bump into each other, and yet nobody really realizes.
It could have gotten really scary, actually, for Cloud9 there. If Uzi turns around from Boiler and just puts a random spray through that smoke, he can pick up 2 members from Cloud9 without getting punished at all.
I'm watching Sean Gears right now at Banana, and he's not going to manage to land that kill on SF. Down to 6 HP SF, and that's just painful here for Cloud9. When they need to be winning these battles outright, they just can't seem to do it.
Well, look at Semphis. He's actually rotated in towards the CT spawn, and he sees and hears a couple of members and takes both of them down. Great individual work coming out from Semphis, just making that choice, and now they're going to rotate back around, but look at Uzi. He sees this coming, and he's going to take down Shroud with the bomb, and that gives up the whole game. There was such a big opening here, even with Scream holding over at the bomb site. It could have worked for them, but Epsilon are just going to end up winning the game right there. 16-10. That made all the difference in the world. As soon as Shroud got caught, that pretty much gave up the game.
That was just some sick team play there between Uzi and the man holding him.